Hello students, welcome back to the sessions 2, 8th standard history, chapter 2, geographical features and prehistoric age. Dear students, in the last session we are all gathered in detail information about what is the meaning of peninsula, and India is considered as a subcontinent. Then the Indian coastline consists of 6,100 kilometers and the Indian land border consists of 15,200 kilometers, etc., etc., etc. And in this session we have to go discuss about geographical features of India. The total India consists of 4 important types of geographical features. See, the 4 important geographical features are: the first one, the Himalaya mountains. See, dear friends, the first one is the Himalaya mountains. Look at the arrow mark, so that we should consider for the Himalaya mountains. And the Indo-Gangetic Plain. Look at the arrow mark, where available for the green color on the map, so that we should consider for the Indo-Gangetic Plain. And third one is the Deccan Plateau. Look at that arrow mark, so that we should consider for the Deccan Plateau. And the fourth one is the coastal region. Look at. So dear students, these 4 very important geographical features of our Indian country. We have to study one by one in detail about for the geographical features of our Indian country. Dear students, the first one, the Himalaya mountains. The first one we should consider for the Himalaya mountain. See, mainly here, the snow-capped mountains. The snow-capped mountains. So Himalaya mountains we should consider for the snow-capped mountains. What is the meaning of snow-capped mountain? Means covering up snow on the top. Covering up snow on the top throughout the year. So that is the snow-capped mountains in the north, in the northern part. So India consists of 4 directions like north, south, west and east. So here you look at this we should consider for the northern part. This we should consider for the northern part. See, the snow-capped mountains throughout the year on the hill station covering of the snow. So that we should consider for the snow-capped mountains in the north includes some of the tallest mountain peaks in the world. Got it? Even some parts of the world also this type of climate available. So here the Himalaya mountains, the snow-capped mountains in the north include some of the tallest mountain peaks in the world. And dear students, they help to preserve the safety and security of India. So look at once for the hill stations. Once we look at for the hill stations, see this northern part covering of the hill stations. In case, got it, foreign invasions, ಅಂದರೆ ಬೇರೆ ದೇಶಗಳಿಂದ ಯಾರಾದರೂ ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಕ್ರಮಣ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಈ ದಾರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬರಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ತುಂಬ ಕಷ್ಟ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಸೊ ಲೈಕ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ದೇ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್, ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ನಾರ್ತನ್ ಮೌಂಟೈನ್ಸ್ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಟು preserve the safety and security of India. Mainly the northern mountains are playing a very very important role. They gave protection and security to our Indian country. And there have been very few intrusions on ancient India from the northern Himalayan region. See, there have been very few intrusions. What is the meaning of intrusions? Means, so between the rocks there is one of the important way, ಅಂದರೆ ಆ ಕಡೆ ಈ ಕಡೆ ಬೆಟ್ಟಗಳಿರುತ್ತೆ, ಮಧ್ಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಗೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಬರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ದಾರಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. So that is we should consider for the passes. There have been very few intrusions on ancient India from the northern Himalayan region. Once we look at for the northern Himalayan region, for example, most of the persons occupied India by using the only northern part. For example, Mughals, got it? They came to India through the northern part only. Like so, here there have been very few intrusions on ancient India from the northern Himalaya region. Look at which are the two important intrusions. See here, the one is the Bolan Pass and another one is the Khyber Pass. The one is the Bolan Pass, another one is the Khyber Pass. So here this is the Bolan Pass and another one is the Khyber Pass. By using these two routes, most of the foreigners came to India to attack. So this we should consider for the intrusions between rocks area, because surrounded by three side water, southern part Indian Ocean, western part Arabian Ocean, eastern part Bay of Bengal. So this total area 6,100 kilometer. Remaining only for the land frontier, it means land border, consists of 15,200 kilometers. So especially here northern part available for the passes, so that we should consider for the intrusions. So such a passes are Bolan Pass and Khyber Pass. These two were playing very important role. So dear students, this is the information about for the mainly northern mountains. And the second important feature, the Indo-Gangetic Plain. Second one is the Indo-Gangetic Plain. So this is also called as North Indian Plain. Indo-Gangetic Plain also called as the North Indian Plain. Now we have to gather in detail information about the Indo-Gangetic Plain. So the flat Indo-Gangetic plains are extremely fertile. So the flat, what is the meaning of flat here? Having a level of surface land. Having a level of surface land. Look at this, available for the level of surface land. So that we should consider for the flat. Indo-Gangetic plains are extremely fertile. Fertile means quality soil. The soil consists of most of the quality. Production available for more and more and more. So the Indo-Gangetic plains are extremely fertile. The ancient civilizations of Indus Valley and Vedic period flourished here. You people already learned 6th standard information about few civilizations. So here there is a Sindhu Valley civilization or Indus Valley civilization. So this was flourished in this plain. It means the Indo-Gangetic plain, northern part only. And the Vedic civilization also established mainly in the part of north of our Indian country. Because of the reason, the northern part consists of extremely flat, and the soil consists of most of the quality. And where there is a quality of the soil, 100% possible to producing more and food grains. That is why in these places civilizations are being came into existence. And for this place purpose, which place purpose means the Indo-Gangetic plain purpose, many battles have been fought from time to time. Establish control over this area to controlling of the northern part purpose. Look at once for the map, my dear students. So here green color locating, especially for this place. To controlling this place purpose, so many dynasties have fought, because this area consists of flat. And available for fertile soil. Usually, the dynasties that established control over this fertile Gangetic plain also established empires. So there is a fight between the dynasties to controlling of the Indo-Gangetic plain. Then after try to establishing so many dynasties. Because of the reason, this part consists of most of the rivers and available for the fertility of the soil. The land consists of flat, weather is too good. That is why in this place established some of the important dynasties, and before that established some of the important civilizations. Look at here, students. The Narmada river separates India into two parts. The Narmada river separates India into two parts. The one is Malwa Plateau and another one is the Deccan Plateau. The one is Malwa Plateau and another one is the Deccan Plateau. So here the Malwa Plateau, northern part of Vindhya range. So the Malwa Plateau consists of northern part. The Deccan Plateau consists of southern part. Here Narmada river divided India into two separate parts. Middle of the India flowing for Narmada river. So that is why this Narmada river divided India into two parts. The one is Malwa Plateau and another one is the Deccan Plateau. Dear students, once you have to look at the map. So this is the Narmada river. River Narmada. So this is, we should consider for the what available for up most of this all we should consider for the Malwa Plateau, and these we should consider for the Deccan Plateau. Here mainly river Narmada divided India into two separate parts, like the first one is Malwa Plateau, another one is the Deccan Plateau. And dear students, the third one, Deccan Plateau. Deccan Plateau. Look at here the India map. So this we should consider for the Deccan Plateau. These all we should consider for the Deccan Plateau. And north available for the Malwa Plateau. See, the Mauryas and the Guptas ruled these two areas of ancient India during the period of ancient time. During the period of ancient time, it means once upon a time. This area ruled by two important dynasties. So such a dynasties are Mauryan dynasty and Gupta dynasty. These two dynasties are ruled ancient time. Which area means the Deccan Plateau. Then, dear students, after the Deccan Plateau, another one very very important, the coastal region. The coastal region. Here, the coastal region. Look at once for the map, where available for the blue mark. So this is, we should consider for the coastal area. Coastal area. This is a very very important. Here the Indian coastline vast and stretches over 6,100 kilometers. This was already told. The total length of the Indian coastline is 6,100 kilometers. 6,100 kilometers. It means stretches, it means it is a continuous area. There is no gap in the coastal area from west to east. The total coastal line, Indian coastal line length is 6,100 kilometers. And the eastern coastline is called Coromandel Coast. The eastern coastline. Once you look at the map, dear students, the eastern coastline is called Coromandel Coast. So dear students, up to this is we should consider for the Coromandel Coast, and whereas western coastline is referred as Konkan and Malabar Coast. So this is up to here, Konkan and Malabar Coast. So this is the Coromandel Coast. Here there 4 types of coasts are there. I have to now give information about for these 4 types of coasts. See here. So this is mainly Konkan coast, and this is the Malabar coast, and up to here Coromandel coast, and up to here Utkal coast. It means the total inland Indian coastline divided into four important types: Konkan coast, Malabar coast, Coromandel coast, and Utkal coast. These four you should be properly keep in your mind. And the numerous ports on this coastline had attracted the Romans from time immemorial. Dear students, should be keep in your mind one of the important point. So the Indian coastline attracting to the Romans, the Indian coastline attracting to the Roman. It means immemorial, means very old, in the time of ancient time. This Indian coastal line attracted to the Romans, attracted to the Romans, and mainly here foreign trade was carried on in those days only through the sea routes. So on that time there is no better roadways, there is no better airways, and there is no better railways. So the better way means only for the sea route. That is why most of the Europeans came to India to do trade, to do trade. They conducting trade that we should consider for the foreign trade through the sea routes. So that is foreign trade was carried on in those days only through sea routes. As a result, port towns flourished, resulting in the rise of powerful kingdoms in south like Pandyas, the Cheras, and the Cholas. When the trade developing very well, the trade become a success. In future, what it that caused to establishment of some of the important dynasties like Pandyas and Cheras and Cholas and some of the another dynasties. So these all credit goes to coastal areas. This all credit goes to coastal areas. So dear students, the diversity in the Indian geographical environment. Diversity means variety, the individual differences between the people. Variety, individual differences between the people. So the diversity in the Indian geographical environment has also influenced the lives of communities living here. In those days, during the period of ancient time, the individual people got it implementing diversity. Maybe in future that caused to the communities also implementing that different and variety types of the culture. So India is a secular country, different kind of religions are there, different kinds of castes are there, different types of languages are there, different dress codes are there, different food habits are there. It means also India stands unity in diversity, unity in diversity. See, despite of the communal diversity, there exists a cultural unity which binds all these diversities. Binds is nothing but unite. ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ವಿವಿಧ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂಥ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ ಇದೆ, ವಿವಿಧ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂಥ ಭಾಷೆಗಳು ಇವೆ, ವಿವಿಧ ರೀತಿಯಾದಂಥ ಒಂದು ವಸ್ತ್ರಾಲಂಕಾರಗಳು ಇವೆ. ಇವೆಲ್ಲವೂ ಇದ್ದರೂ ಸಹ ನಮ್ಮ ಭಾರತ ದೇಶ ಅನ್ನೋದು ಏಕತೆಯ ಮೇಲೆ ನಿಂತಿದೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ಸ್ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಆನ್ unity. India stands based on unity. See, unity in diversity is the essence of this culture. Most important quality of India. This one, essence means most important quality. Unity in diversity is the most essence quality of India. So dear students, like here coastal areas and our Indian culture playing very important role. And another one is the prehistoric period. And dear students, next session we have to go to discuss about what is the meaning of prehistoric period and what are the main characteristics of prehistoric period, etc, etc, etc. My dear students, this is Chandrasekhar, social science teacher, BGS Public School, Shidlaghatta. Thank you. Have a nice day.